In this video, we're going to learn how to use the Pathfinder tool. And here is the practice document that you're going to download. We're going to learn 5 of the most common things that Pathfinder can do. So in order for the Pathfinder panel to pop up, you have to select 2 or more shapes. So I'm just going to click and drag over these first 2 circles. If you look on the bottom right of your properties panel, the Pathfinder toolbox has shown up. So there are 4 options right here. There's also additional options if you click on those 3 little dots there. Let's start with the first one, Unite. And when you hover over something and let your mouse sit for just a second, it's going to tell you what it does, just in case you don't remember from the icon picture. So let's click on that and see what it does to our circles. It is going to combine those 2 shapes into one. Let's try the next one. This one is going to take away that front shape and anything that is behind it. We have intersect, and this one is going to just keep the overlapping shape. So wherever those 2 shapes are overlapping, that's what it's going to keep. Whereas exclude is going to do the opposite. We're going to keep anything that's not overlapping, and whatever is overlapping is going to be taken away. And then the last one we have is divide. This one is under more options. We're not going to go through all of these. I typically use these 5 the most. So this one, you click on it and it doesn't really look like it does anything. It looks the same. But what it does is it separates all of those shapes that you see there, and it separates them into 3 different shapes. So if you ungroup it, you can really see what's going on here. So I just ungroup, and now we can see instead of 2 circles, it has separated it into 3 different shapes. Knowing those 5 Pathfinder options, the challenge for you is to try and create all of these shapes, and the only tools you can use are any of the shapes available to you and the Pathfinder. So let's first start with this caterpillar or cloud or whatever you want to call it. This we can see that we have 3 circles and they have been combined with one another. So let's come over here and see if we can make it. I'm going to be using the ellipse tool. Okay. And I want 3 of these circles. You can copy and paste. It's just going to paste in the center of your document. But if you instead use Alt or Option while you have it selected, you can click and drag that shape and it will just copy it for you. So Alt or Option, click and drag the shape. So now we have our 3 circles. We want to combine them or unite them into one shape. So let's do that. Okay, and with this shape, it looks like we have a fairly thick black stroke and no fill. So let's do that. I'm going to resize it. We're going to take off the fill and then add a black stroke. Now we can increase the stroke to about the same thickness. And there's our first shape. It doesn't have to be exact. Obviously, those 2 are a little different, but if you can generally get the same thing, that's what we're looking for. Okay, so next one we have a square with a circle cut out of it. So let's make our square first. If I want to make a perfect square, if I just press and hold Shift as I am creating that square, it's going to make it a perfect square. Same with the circle. And I'm just going to start from the center and press and hold Alt or Option so it resizes from the center, and Shift, so I'm holding 2 things at once here so that I can get my circle exactly in the center of that square. Let's change these to a fill so you can really see what's going on. I'll change the color of that front shape. Okay, so we have my square behind my circle. The problem with this though is we want this to cut a hole out of the square. So we're going to do that. Let's select both of those. And then over here, Pathfinder, we want to minus the front. So take away that circle that's in front and anything that's behind it. And there we have it. We have cut a hole in the square. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We have a moon. This one's going to look the same, very similar. Let's create our circle first. Okay, and then let's use that same shortcut we learned, Alt or Option, and then click and drag. So we have two shapes now. I'm going to change the color of the top one so you can see. Okay, so I want to minus this circle and anything that's behind it, so I'm just left over with that moon shape, the crescent moon shape. So minus the front, and there we have it, our moon. Okay, so first three are done. Let's see if we can figure out the next ones. So the Pac-Man, that's going to be very similar to what we just did, except we want to minus a triangle out of a circle. The arrow, we have a rounded rectangle, and it's combined with a triangle to create that arrow. It's going to feel very similar to this first caterpillar one. Okay, I'm going to let you guys figure that one out. Let's move on to this one right here. It looks like we have three shapes that have been separated. It feels very similar to what we did over here. So let's see if we can recreate it. Let's make our first circle here. Alt or Option. We're going to copy to get our second one. Change the color so we can see them both. Okay, so we have two circles here. And basically what we want to do is we want to take these two circles and make it into three separate shapes wherever those blue lines are overlapping. So this is going to be divide. Go ahead and click divide, and when you use divide, your shapes are going to be automatically grouped together. So what we need to do is click ungroup, select those two shapes, click ungroup, and then we should be able to now separate the three shapes that we have now made. Okay, and make those black. And that is number 6. Now these last three, this is when it gets a little tricky. This flower is actually just a bunch of ovals. So let's try it over here. We're just going to use the ellipse tool to create a petal. And a little thing that's going to help you with this one. Basically, we want to copy these ovals, rotate them to create all of the petals. But the problem with just eyeballing it is you may end up with an imperfect flower. Okay. So like this, we don't have perfect spacing between all of our ovals. It's not perfectly centered. This one here is a very perfect flower, and that's what we want ours to look like. So I'm going to give you guys a couple tips that will help you accomplish this. Okay, I'm going to change this to a stroke so we can see our separate ovals. Alright, so first trick is when we copy it, Control-C, Control-V, it's once again going to just paste it in the center of our document. But if we instead used Control-F or Command-F on a Mac, okay, it looks like nothing happened, but what it did is it pasted that shape directly on top of the other one. So now when I rotate it, I have two shapes that are right on top of each other, and when I rotate, they're going to be rotating on the same axis. Another thing we can do is while we're rotating, if you press and hold Shift, it's going to rotate at perfect 45-degree angles. Okay, so that way we can get them perfectly spaced apart. So I'm just going to do a cross here, and then we need two more. So I'm just going to copy both of these, Control-C and then Control-F or Command-F. I've just pasted them on top of one another. Whoops, gotta select those both. And then we're going to rotate them Press and hold shift so it does it at 45-degree angles. And now we have all of our petals perfectly spaced apart. Now all we need to do is select all of them and use the Pathfinder tool to unite them all. And there is our flower. You can increase the stroke of that if you would like to match the one on the left. Let's try this gear or flower, whatever you want to call it. So this is a little confusing because it looks very similar to the flower, but it's actually made with the star tool. So let's select the star tool from our shapes. And as you are creating your star tool, if you press the up arrow, you can increase the number of points on your star. You can also just click on your artboard once with the star tool selected, and you can decide exactly how many points you want to put on your star. So I'm just going to do, let's do 10 points. Hit OK. I'm going to make it a little bigger. So now that we have our star created, we want to curve every single corner that we see on this star. Let's hit the direct selection tool over here instead of our selection tool, and you'll notice that these tiny little circles have shown up in each corner. Now, if we just click and drag one of them, it is going to curve every single corner at the same time. And then we can get that nice gear or flower effect. I want to take a circle out from the center of that. So let's change this to a fill so we can see what's going on here. So I have my gear underneath, the circle on top. I'm going to select both of those, and let's use the Pathfinder to minus the front. So now we have the hole taken out of it. And let's do this last one here. So we see two shapes. We have a 5-sided star, and we also have a circle. So let's first make those shapes. Let's do the star first. I'm just going to click and put 5 points so it creates my star. And then I want to have a circle as well. And I'm going to make this a different color so we can see the two separate shapes. Okay, so I have my circle, my star, they are overlapping. I want to keep all of the shapes that are not overlapping another shape. So that is going to be the exclude button. Let's click on that. Basically, wherever the star and the circle are overlapping, it's going to get rid of that and then leave everything else. And there we have it. All of our shapes. These two, I'm sure you can figure it out, so good luck. And that is the Pathfinder tool.